Hey, I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jenny.
And you're listening to the Super
Wonderful Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Super Wonderful Podcast. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jenny.
And we're going to talk about some stuff, and you're going to listen to it. That sounded so threatening. That's not what I meant. I just felt like that's our roles in the podcast world. We speak, and then you are on the receptive end of that, which would be listening.
I love having an Aries best friend.
I'm just a boss, like a bossy bitch. We're talking now, and you're listening. I'm going to talk more and louder, even if it's incorrect. Here we go.
And I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm going to go, I'm with you, girl.
We are like Thelma and Louise. Like our signs are very... And then Leo would also be in the car, but like brushing their hair.
Yeah. So like, I'm pretty... I love Leos. Like I have some people who are too into, like when somebody doesn't like a Leo, I'm usually like, they're intimidating.
Yeah, I get that.
But I like that. I like women that are intimidating.
Because I feel like the one you would always reference for Leo was J-Lo, right? Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, like I said, she's got that energy. I don't think she's actually Leo, but she's that kind of energy. I'm gonna look. Let me look. Yeah.
Is J-Lo a Leo? I'm going to bet $25. Yes, I'm right. Somebody give me $25.
Yeah, I was like that. She's like the queen of what Leo energy is.
Yeah.
She's in trouble right now, though.
Wait, why? What did she do? Can we talk about it? Is she gonna get mad?
I don't know. I'm forever a lover of her because she inspired so much. I loved her and Selena, and she was the poster on my wall. And like anytime somebody asked me, like, "What are your body goals?" I'm like, J-Lo. So it's just like hard. The whole breakup with Ben Affleck, like it started coming out that like she might be tied to some of these P. Diddy things.
Yeah. I don't know. Allegedly.
It's rumors right now, so I have to hope that it's not true. But I'm a very good example of you can be dating somebody who's awful and be a good person and just get caught up in their shit a little, because I had a dark era with, I was dating a guy, TJ was his name, but like
call him out.
It doesn't matter. Like he's not famous, like, but he was just like a really dark energy. Like he was dark and he couldn't get his drinking under control, and it kind of brought that out in me. Like it brought out the addict in me, and because I kept feeling like not accepted by him, I kept making myself more and more of a clown. You know,
he did a really good job of like isolating you from your friends. Like there was a moment there where I looked at my partner Ken and I was like, I don't know if Jenna and I are going to be friends anymore. She's very different, and like we don't even talk. That was the only time in our whole relationship that I felt like that.
Yeah, it was a really dark time. And it was weird because like I had this conversation with another girl. When they're not punching you in the eye, it's hard to call it an abusive relationship. But grabbing your arm and telling you stuff, grabbing your throat and telling you stuff, like that's abuse. But it's strange because like everybody's like, oh, I just got an abusive relationship. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I dated a really dark guy, but you know, like I can't imagine being, but it's like, girl, you don't have to imagine because you were.
And like, I don't want to necessarily go down the road of like your abusive ex-partners, but like you had a guy who was like into choking you or something. And one time you were on set and someone was like, hey, like pulled you aside and they were like, hey, like you've got some bruises. Like, are you okay? Are you in a safe spot? And you were like, I was hiking at Runyon Canyon and I almost fell and somebody grabbed me so I wouldn't fall like by your neck. And they clearly didn't buy it. I don't think that was like a controlling thing. I think that was like a fetish thing, right? Like I whispered it, like I'm not actually saying it.
That time was a fetish thing.
But
it wasn't my fetish, but I'm not like a shamer. So like if I'm with somebody and they have a thing, like I let them like do their
try it out. Try it. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's gotten me in some funny stories.
What's your favorite shareable story of that?
I mean, like I think,
God. Oh no.
Okay, so me and an ex of mine, he was into diaper play. So he wanted to wear a diaper and be a baby. Okay. He wanted me to wear a diaper and be a baby. So we wore diapers together one time and peed in the diaper.
Like in public? Or was it at home?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
It was at home.
Okay.
But just for me, I that's when like I'm not ever going to shame anyone for what their thing is.
Sure.
But it's just like pee is so far away from anything I would ever find sexual.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when I was doing the foot modeling. right? We did the foot modeling.
We did. Before it was like very popular now.
Yeah, it's very popular now. But like when he first was approaching me, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Like, you can take pictures of my, you're gonna pay me $250 to take some pictures of my feet. Yeah, fine.
Done.
Yeah. Don't
Nailed
care.
it.
Yeah. So it's just like for me, like the one time that I saw him getting kind of turned on by it, I was like, oh,
Hmm.
this is like a sexy thing to you. Toes are like a sexy, like I'm just so far removed from it that it's just
What if
weird that it's
somebody
sexual.
peed on somebody else's toes? Would like their brain explode? Would that be too many sexy things?
Yeah. There could be some overlap there.
Yeah. I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
so but you kind of are like just like you're a normal person
Who,
in that,
me or
right?
like
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
there a
you.
secret third person that I'm not looking at?
Like you've always had like a healthy sex life and it's been very like normal is a weird word
Consensual?
for it. Yeah, consensual and like you guys are both like on the same page. Like neither
Yeah.
of you are doing something for the other one that's not your thing.
No. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We're going down this road. But yeah, like we got married and then went to Vegas for like our mini moon. We had a real honeymoon in Europe the following year or 2 years later. But we were in Vegas right after. And I was like, let's do something we've never done before because we're married now. And I suggested something and he was like, oh, isn't that a little degrading? And I was like, do it. He's like, I never would have thought to ask this. And I was telling another girlfriend of mine that, and she was like, yeah, because Ken's like a good guy. Like, why
Yeah.
would he think of, like, well, I thought of it. So I'm a pervert.
He respects you. Whoa.
Boo.
Yeah, I remember I made a joke at your wedding, and I don't know. I wish for the life of me I could remember who is the one that looked at me and went, no.
I know.
You do know who? Okay. So
Yeah.
I made a joke as you were leaving for your honeymoon. And I said, think of me. And someone's like, no. Like,
Thinking of it, it might still be the same person. I was thinking of, you were sitting at the table and you got a phone call. You had just started seeing your husband.
yeah.
And I guess he was on speaker and said something a little spicy. And she's like this church woman who like came because she's really good friends with like my mom and my dad. And she was like, what a lovely way. My dad officiated, like, he's such a great pastor and such a way with words. And then you're like, speakerphone, let's talk about this.
So here's what's so funny about that. We were on FaceTime. It was FaceTime. And I said, oh, I wish you were here with me. He said, I wished I was eating that under the table.
Yes,
And I
that's what
went,
it was.
bye. And I hung up and I looked around like, hello, everyone. And then Ty said, I just watched this movie last night so I could recognize the voice. And I'm like, I'm in a nightmare.
Oh my God.
And then everybody at the table's like, who was it? And he said, Casper Van Dien
Oh
from
my
Starship
God.
Troopers. And I'm just sitting there like frozen because this lady, she had been just talking about Sunday school or something.
Oh,
And I'm like,
probably.
we still have the whole night, man.
I,
We just sat down.
I think she did not stay the whole time. She was probably like
I
fatigued,
need to leave.
emotionally,
Yeah.
spiritually tapped out.
Yeah. But I like that about you and Ken. Like you guys have always been very respectful of each other. Like you guys have been together so long, and it's always just been nice.
Sure.
Yeah.
You imagine if I was like, actually, now's the time I
Now's the time we need to
confess.
talk about this. I
Yeah.
really need to talk about this. But you've watched me go through so many phases.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of them. Lots
All
of
of them
phases.
wonderful. All of them unique in their own special way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm where I am because I did all that weird stuff, but like
Exactly.
I definitely was the person who said yes more times than I should have.
So, God, right around the time like The Secret came out, and everyone was talking about like manifesting in a way that hadn't really been discussed before, and it was really mainstream. And I was very interested in it. And I was like, okay, and I still love it. I'm still into it. And so I was like, what if I did say yes to the things that I would typically say no to? What if I'm closing a door that was meant for me to open? And so I'm living with my boyfriend, and we were not married at the time, still can. I've only been with one guy. You don't live this face and this body and have more than one sexual partner.
You're
And
so
except
silly.
yourself. I was walking. God, do you remember where did Chris used to work? That actor studio.
Yeah,
They're on
Network
Ventura.
Studios.
Yes. So
Yeah,
I
by
just
Samuel French Bookstore.
yes. I had just come from there, either the studio or the bookstore for the beach,
Bookstore.
bookstore. And I was walking in my car, and some guy was like, "Hey," and I turned around and he's like, "Oh, I just saw you in there. Like, are you a writer?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do comedy writing. I do stand up." He's like, "I would love to collaborate with you." And I thought, this is the universe telling me that this is a great opportunity. Like, it came out of nowhere. I manifested this and I was like, yeah, great. So then he texted me and was like, "Hey, we should meet and write." And I was like, okay, like, yeah, we should do that. And then I said something like, but I'm with my boyfriend today, so we'll find another time. And he was like, "You didn't mention anything about a boyfriend when I saw you on the street." I'm like, what
Yeah, it didn't
position do
come
you?
up.
Like, no, I didn't think I had to. I thought the universe was directing you towards me, Timmy. And then he got mean. He got so mean. He was like, "Oh, like you're a what does he say? Like a never will be. Like not instead of a has been, it was like never will be. Like good luck burning and crashing and failing." It was like, "But nice ass though." And I was like,
Yeah.
so
Thanks.
into
Thank you.
people pleasing that I was like, "Oh, thank you, LOL. Like hope you have a great day."
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was
It's
just so
amazing how
weird.
quick the turn happens if you have a boyfriend. The turn was so quick. And that was just such a our time when we first moved to LA, that was the most for me, looking back at history, it was such a brutal time for girls.
Yes. Yeah.
It was such a brutal time. And it was like the rise of the mean gay.
Yes. Yeah. Like Will
And
and Grace taught me, okay, we're going to just be as cutting as possible.
yeah, so that's the personality we all kind of took on in that time. So I was going around like the meanest gay man you could ever meet.
Beautiful to look at, horrible to interact with.
Horrible.
What a mistake.
Yeah, but like we had we were hungry.
We were just like literally too hungry to be nice.
Yeah, we were in a calorie deficit that would blow your mind. Running, we would joke about our oxygen lunches.
We used to take pills. What pills did we used to take? Remember?
I
They were like
yes,
yellow.
yeah. Was it hydroxycut? I can't remember.
No, it was like a vitamin, like you could get it from like a vitamin shop or
Yeah,
something.
I remember these. I don't remember what they were though.
There's a photo of us in Vegas and we're sitting at like a Chinese restaurant and you have on your chopsticks a pill and you're going to eat it. And you're like, dinner. Like that
Yeah.
was that culture, that like diet culture, that starvation culture, that
Mhm.
how old were you when you knew what a diet was, when you went on a diet, or like that whole thing kind of became aware to you?
Well, my mom was dieting and doing HIT training, what's now called
Mm,
HIT training, in our living room. Like she'd be on the bike, then she'd do fire hydrants, then she'd be doing crunches, and she'd be doing this whole rotation in the living room while we watch TV. And that was like in third grade.
okay.
And I knew in third grade, like, oh, I can't. That's what you got to do. If you're a woman, you got to do that. And then I remember when my hips came in fifth grade, my hips kind of came in. And that's when people started treating me a little differently. The hugs were longer at church.
Ew.
Yeah. The hugs
Ew.
got more close and intense with certain people. But yeah, but I knew that that was a female's power and you had to maintain it
Yeah.
as early as elementary school.
Yeah, same. I remember being, I want to say first grade, maybe second grade, and I was really skinny. Like I was like a scrawny kid. And I had a friend, my best friend at the time, her mom
I'll kill her.
battled with, was a murderer.
Oh, wow. I said, I'll kill.
Oh, I thought you said she was a killer. I was like, yeah, sure.
No,
She was a
no, you
murderer.
said I had a best friend, and I said, I'll kill her.
You know what? She was a Sagittarius too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we just got on really well. I thought you meant you were going to kill the mom. I was like, okay.
No, you're like, okay, fine. All right.
I just like whoever you want to
Yes, and.
murder, like sure. Yeah, yes. So she had major the mom body image issues and like projected it onto her child and me because I was the best friend and I came over all the time. So the mom was talking about Karen Carpenter and said that, oh, she used to be so skinny that she was so skinny she died. She was like, and she was even skinnier than you, Michelle. So like, don't get so full of yourself.
Like, I
Like,
needed that
yeah.
knockdown.
Like, are you skinny enough to die? Then you're not skinny enough. Like that, like I remember going home and like sucking in my stomach to count my ribs at like 7.
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was like your value.
Yeah. It really was. And when we moved to LA, I do remember one of the most like moments was when everybody said Brittany really let herself go.
Oh my God.
Like, can you imagine that
After she
that would
just had
be,
2 children
yeah, that
back to
that would
back.
be letting you go,
Oh
letting
my
yourself
God.
go. Like, you look back at those pictures, she's hot.
Yes.
They were just evil to us. I remember though going in, you and I, we went to that personal trainer, which is a whole story on its own.
Oh my God.
Speed. So we go in and we have our first consultation. He's like, well, what do you want to look like? And I'm like, J-Lo. And he looks at my butt and he goes, I think I can get you there.
Did he? I don't remember that part.
Yeah. He said, I think I could get you there
Nice.
with work and dedication. And I'm like, okay. And so like I signed up. I'm like, that was a good tactic.
It
Ask
was.
me who I want to look like and tell me I could do that for you. But I don't know if you remember this, but he was working me. So he was working us out and then he asked me on a date and I went out on the date and I ordered a bean burrito and I was eating my bean burrito and he goes, this was a bad choice. And I go, what? And he goes, the bean burrito, that's too many calories. And he started like telling me how to eat. And it was just such a like normal thing back then. And now looking back,
Mm,
I thought if this girl showed up and anyone told me what to order at lunch, I'd be like, you can eat shit and die. Like I'm
yeah.
getting the bean burrito. That's what I
Yeah.
want.
Oh my God. I do, but that's like, how dare he? For lots of reasons, but one of which, because you guys were, so first of all, so we shared the training sessions. We both, he like
We made a deal.
tag teamed us
Yeah.
with his horribleness. And so because you were dating, he would come over to the apartment and I was like, oh, like if I have any kind of cheap food or anything, like he's going to see it and he's going to be mad. And he came over, you guys came over one time and he had a freaking Pizza Hut pizza that he ate. And I was like,
Yes.
that's not allowed. That is not
But
allowed.
But because he was a distance runner from Morocco. Like he was like in the Olympics or something. Like I can do this because of how many calories I burn. You don't burn as many calories as me. He's so rude. But whatever. He's just one example of how men would talk. Like that one boyfriend, the diaper guy,
Oh,
he told me one time after we went out to eat, I can tell when you're not hitting Runyon as much because of your arms.
so Runyon Canyon is where everybody used to go to work out and we would climb it sometimes 3 times. If you did it 3 times, you were like,
You could go eat that day. You
yeah,
could have lunch.
yeah, but
Yeah,
not a
but
bean
he
burrito.
yeah, but like it was to the point where he was like, I can tell in your arms when you're not going as often.
That's so annoying. People are very annoying. So like not only was it romantic partners, but I remember, God, like castings for sure. Oh God. I just had a memory. So there was a website and I can't, it was one of those like backstage casting whatever things. And I booked a part for, I don't even remember what it was. It might have been exercise related. And you had to like put your measurements on. And like my measurements were in the ballpark of the truth, but like I was a size 4,
Yeah.
but I've always had, like I've always had hips. Like I would be 12 years old at church and the church ladies would say, oh, you got them birthing hips, it's gonna be easy for you,
Yes.
you got birthing hips. I'm like, I haven't even started my period yet.
Yeah, this is weird.
Can we talk about Jesus,
Yeah.
please? Jesus gave you the birthing hips. And like that's not what I meant. So I booked the lead part in that commercial or non-union whatever. And then I also got another background gig where the casting director was on set. And I was in like jeans and like a little tiny tank top from like Forever 21 that was glittery. And he was like bragging to one of the other pretty girls that he was with, like, oh, and I just cast her for the lead in this exercise thing. And then he kind of like looked me up and down. And then the next day I saw that I didn't get the job
That is so
because he
rude.
saw me in real life and then saw like other girls that were actually skinny.
I mean, it's really screwed up. It's really bad. Like I got things like that over my body too because, they wanted zeros.
Yes.
They wanted zeros and we were fours. And it's like
Yeah.
4 isn't big, but if you're standing by a 0, who looks bigger?
Huge. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I
Yeah.
hated it. I hated being a 4. There was one point in my life where I got down to like a 0 to a 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was
You
very
got you would
hungry.
get very skinny a lot though. I
Mm,
remember there was this guy named Robert at Central Casting, and he would cast all the hot girls for a long
yes.
time. So I would work as like a hot girl pretty often. So there was a breakdown for a show that said, super hot, stunning girls call in. So I call in and he answered and I submitted and he pulled up my picture and he goes, you understood that I said super hot. That's like when they say super hot, that means like model. You're 5'4". Like that's not what I mean when I say super hot. And I'm like, okay. He goes, yeah, like you're just wrong for this. Like if you we're thinking like next time, so this is clear. Next time somebody says super hot, it's 5'7" and above and size 2 and below.
And just so everybody's very clear about this, when you called in for those background things, it was very fast. It
Very
was either
fast.
like, yes, here's your box number, your call times, whatever, next. Because they're rotating through and trying to book, 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 book. So
And
for
he
him to
needed to
take
teach me a
that
lesson.
much time to like explain to you how your body is not
Not
ideal,
not hot.
is not hot.
You're too short and you're too big.
Oh my God. That
So
happened to me kind of too. No, go ahead, finish.
yeah, so it was this weird thing of I had mutual friends with him on Facebook.
Mm,
And when I booked True Blood, and the casting for True Blood was like the hottest girl at the party. Like the breakdown was this is an alluring girl, and like you see her, and the guys want to be with her, the girls want to be her. Like that's who this is, like the hottest sorority girl. So when I went in and I booked that, I wanted him to see it so bad. And it's just so weird how those kind of things stays with you. Like the last person I should have been thinking about when I booked like a big network show it should not have been stupid Robert from Central Casting who was mean to me about my body. you know,
right.
like
Oh
I
my
should have been
God.
celebrating, and I'm like, I hope Robert fucking sees this.
And feels bad. Like he wouldn't
Yeah,
remember.
he
He
wouldn't
wouldn't remember at
remember.
all.
No, he says that to a girl every day.
Every day. I did that one time where I called in and it was the same thing. Like, we're looking for super hot girls for blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then you call and you give like the first or the last four of your social or whatever. And what happens is they put it in the computer and they pull up a picture and then they tell you yes or no. And then they move on to the next person. And I heard the hesitation and he was like, no, and then hung up. And I called the line back later and it was the same role, but he had updated it where he was like, I mean, actually really hot, not just hometown hot. You have to be like a model. And I was like, did you look at me and then have to go back and update that? Because how dare you?
So rude. It's insane. It's insane what they did and the way they talked to people. It was really, really crazy. But what's really funny about all of that is we were on one of the most exclusive lists in Hollywood. We were one of the Playboy party girls. Like
Yeah.
if Playboy had a party, we got invitations, and you had to like get recruited and get submitted and go through a process to be on the party list. And we were on that list, but like Robert was being a dick to us, you know?
Yeah, you can't be background number 47.
Yeah, it was very confusing. But someone did tell me one time, which this is out of line too, that I'm like, they said, you're like porn hot and not like model hot. You're like, people will want to have sex with you, but you can't model clothes.
Take your clothes off and then we'll talk,
Yeah,
Jenny.
it's like okay.
My God. So I feel like we've gone through lots of diets,
Yeah.
lots of fad diets. I know you did this. I don't think I ever did this. What was the one with the cayenne pepper? What was that
Yeah,
challenge?
the cleanse.
The cleanse, master cleanse.
The master cleanse, yeah.
Did you do
I
that
did
a
that.
lot or just
I,
once?
I did it like 3 times. I did the master cleanse. But the most toxic thing that I would do is if I had a bikini shoot, because whenever I was later on Joey's list, which was like, like the
Mm,
girls who got like higher contract stuff, like you would get bikini work and it'd pay 500 for the day.
yes.
So if I got booked for something like that for 72 hours, it's only like 7 almonds raw anytime I start to feel hunger, and then drink a whole glass of water
Oh my God.
for 72 hours before I go on.
And you know that everyone would have been like, oh, she's so serious about her job. Like, good for her. That's so
Yeah,
professional.
she's dedicated. Yeah.
We just didn't have like, thank God, like Gen Z, you guys have like such body
Yeah.
positivity that like we didn't have.
Well, I think the kind of Ozempic thing is kind of bringing a little
Mm,
bit of the gaunt back, unfortunately. Like it's kind of like giving a lot of us who went through that first round, it's giving us a little PTSD.
a little bit.
Yeah. And I think for you and I, there's this other layer to it because we were on camera in motion at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we would get booked for things where you wore very little clothes and they said, okay, cross here. And you're not getting the lead girl lighting. So, like, there was a part of us that knew we had to be that kind of camera ready at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that was hard.
Speaking of lighting, when we would go to cons as Supergirl and Wonder Woman, and this really unflattering, like overhead convention lighting, and
Mhm.
like every single ripple or pucker or
There's no
flaw,
hiding from it.
you can't hide from it. And you're not in charge of how somebody, why do men like to shoot you from the floor so you look like a mountain? Like, that's not flattering.
Yeah. Yeah. It
And
was
then people would go
horrible.
online and be like, oh, they'd be pretty if they had bags on their heads. Literally was one
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
There was a
Uh,
lot.
and people would talk about my thunder thighs a lot, which was really bizarre because it would be my thighs, the size of my thighs would either be, she's like Jessica Rabbit. Oh my God. She's
Yeah,
so
love it.
hot. Like she's the real Wonder Woman. Look at those thighs. Or it's, she should be really embarrassed. Her thighs are disgusting. I'm like,
There's
so
no middle ground.
which is it?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's either super sexualized
Hmm.
and appropriate, or it's disgusting. No one will ever have sex with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
God
No, no
forbid
middle ground.
we take into consideration what you think of your own body.
Yeah, and what's interesting is like before anyone told me how to feel about women's bodies, really, like I thought about it to myself a lot and I would hear the noise. But like Kate Hudson, I know I talked with you before you got your boob job. I'm like, literally, it's so hot. Like Kate Hudson and her wife beater
Mm-hmm.
and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like that like made me feel some things. Like it made me feel a certain way. And I think the world kind of conditioned us to not view that as sexy, like you needed Playboy jugs to be sexy. And so, like, there were just like so many different noises coming in about what a woman should be. And I think now it's like more accepted that all kinds of things are pretty. And can we stop? Like, I love when they compare it back to like the old statues and stuff. And they're like, look,
Yes.
this was
It's like
pretty. This was pretty.
Rubenesque.
Like all of these women's bodies, someone found them so beautiful that they immortalized them.
So I felt like the only way for it to be acceptable to have small titties is if your whole body was small, like Kate Moss, like the heroine chic. Like if you could have a whole body that was small, then it was fine to have the small boobs, like Keira Knightley. But like if you, like me, had zero boobs, but then like that ass, that was weird.
But then Iggy Azalea came along.
Yeah, but then she got her boobs done
I
too.
know, but she looked so hot in the beginning too.
She did. She definitely did.
She was so hot.
Yeah. So basically, you can't win.
No, but like there is this refreshing thing now where we know it's fine.
Yes.
Like I'm in perimenopause right now and it's kicking my ass, but like I've gained weight, but it's like there's an acceptance to it that I would never have had when I was younger. It's like if you would have told me that I would be okay weighing 20 pounds up from where I like to sit, I'd be like, there's no way. If I go 10 pounds over, I like kill myself to get back down. Like that's been the whole life. But I'm just like, you know what? I'm in my 40s. I went through 6 rounds of IVF. I had all these miscarriages and all this trouble. Like, I'm just happy my body's still working.
Totally. We beat our bodies up so severely. And like, they're so nice to just keep on going.
Yeah, it's amazing. Really.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to figure out what's going on with me hormonally and I'm like, well, I went through war. I'm trying to balance back out, but like
Yeah.
being a woman is war.
Yeah. Absolutely. My gosh. Well, and then I've got two young girls, and like, I have to even be careful with my self talk. Like, I got some clothes in the mail yesterday and I was trying them on. My daughter was in the room, but I was on the speakerphone with my sister. And I was like, oh, I got a small. Let's see if that was a mistake. And it's like, ooh, probably shouldn't say that in front of my 5-year-old.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's internalizing, what am I eating? Am I measuring what I'm eating? Am I commenting on what I'm eating?
Yeah.
How much is like okay?
Yeah,
So
it's hard.
it's tricky. It's tricky, and I'm not trying to whine. Like I live a wonderfully beautiful life and I'm very happy. It's dicey sometimes being a woman and existing in a woman's body and then looking at other smaller versions of yourself and being like, okay, how do I not mess up your brain when it comes time to nourishing your body and choosing the vitamins that are good for you? And like, food is medicine and food is fuel and food is brain power. And
Yeah.
I don't know. And then she's 5, so you can't get into it because she's like, I don't care.
Yeah. I want the chicken nuggets, mommy.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to you anymore.
Yeah.
She's in the other room. Like that's my big problem. Is like I over explain and she's gone. Literally has left the room and I'm like, well, the people on the internet said the best way to, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny because I had two young girls in my house when me and Casper first got married because his daughters were like 12 and 14. And the only chicken nuggets they ever knew were our tofu
Mm,
nuggets. So, like, they had never been to McDonald's. Like, they had been raised like in an organic household. So the things that I had growing up where it was like I had to unlearn those bad behaviors on the other side, like because I was eating all chemicals and McDonald's
yeah.
and
Yep.
whatever. So there's like a happy medium. Because
Yeah.
I
I
went
heard
I
Happy
went from that
Meal.
extreme to yeah, I went from that
There's a
extreme
Happy
to
Meal?
yeah, yeah. I went from that extreme to starving myself as a young adult
Yeah.
because I was like, oh no, I've been doing this wrong.
Okay, so I want to end on remember when. You just made me think of something. Do you remember when I had gotten into a car accident and they'd given me Valium? And you said, man, you're so lucky. Ice cream will dance in front of your eyes if you take some Valium. And so you were like, let's take it together for funsies. And then we'll go out and work on the boulevard as Wonder Woman and Supergirl. And I was like, yes, this, I see zero things
Valium
wrong.
party.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this. And so you were like, we can't take it on an empty stomach. So we went to McDonald's and got salads. Like out of all the places to buy a salad, we were like McDonald's, clearly. And then we went home because we were living together and we ate our salads, took our Valium, and then like nothing happened. It
Nothing
must have been
happened.
like a very low dose.
Yeah.
So instead, we drank and then like got our friend Alex, who was, I think she had a Batgirl, my Batgirl costume, and we all went out to the boulevard together and we were like a
Drunk.
little bit
Yeah.
special.
Tipsy.
And then, like, once we saw the children, we were like, was
Oh,
this not a great idea?
maybe
Just
we
like
shouldn't
vodka
do
breath
this.
into the
Hey.
children.
But it was
Um,
like a Friday night or a Saturday night. Like it was
yes.
like, so
Tuesday at 10 a.m.
yeah, yeah. So it was like kind of on the parents. Like, you're going to have your kid out on Hollywood Boulevard on a Friday night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're not going to be the worst thing you see tonight.
Oh my God. Well, that was pretty fun. I don't know about you. I had a good time.
Very
Yeah.
fun.
All right. Well, everybody who's listening, please, 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 if you liked us, if you didn't like us, come over and tell us, but only the nice things. Our handle is Super Wonderful Podcast on Instagram. And if you have any questions that you want us to answer on the podcast, let us know. I'll put a
Yeah.
little post and you can write in the comments what you'd like us to talk about or
Which
not
you,
talk about. Like, stop talking about this.
no, you just reminded me when we used to do the Q&As,
Oh my God. Drunk Q&As.
drunk Q&As for our YouTube. Anyways,
Anyway, thanks so much for listening and I love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye.